Welcome to another discussion. It's a real pleasure to talk with Seth Cohen, the founder of 11 Canterbury today, and founder and managing partner of 11 Canterbury. Seth created 11 Canterbury after a very successful career in banking. He led a major part of the foreign exchange group at UBS and then did the offshoring work for UBS, which is quite dear to my heart because I met someone that worked with him, and that's how I became part of 11 Canterbury. So, Seth, it's quite a significant change to go from a senior level position at a huge bank, to doing something else. I mean, how did that feel?
Well, Dan, thanks for the warm introduction. Transitioning from a world where everything from my daily schedule to strategic decisions was somewhat predetermined, to then having the autonomy to shape my own activities and time was both thrilling and daunting. Even though it happened 15 years ago, it still feels like it happened yesterday. I remember thinking to myself when I was sort of knee deep into 11 Canterbury that it might take me a year or two to unlearn the behavior that made me successful at UBS to begin to be successful in my new company. It's a major shift from having goals and priorities set by corporate objectives to now establishing my own based on my own personal interests and my own corporate objectives. I'm excited to share the insights that I gained from that transition and discuss strategies on how we could all navigate this significant change effectively.
I mean, this is certainly as we go through life, we go through many stages and transitions. We grow up, we go to school, we go to college, we get married, we have children, the children leave. I think in every stage of life you have transitions. My grandson is complaining when he moved from third and fourth grade basketball to fifth and sixth grade basketball. It was much easier, much more fun winning and as you were towered over the third graders than it is in losing as the sixth graders tower over you. So it sounds like this is one of the bigger changes, in fact, that we go through in life in our career. I mean, it's a big change. How did you do that?
Well, first of all of those steps that you mentioned are all big changes, and they all have something in common. You're going from one routine, one clarity of defined goals to another. I've observed that many people struggle with finding a new purpose or direction, particularly when they leave the corporate world. My advice, maintain a kind of a daily routine, set achievable personal goals, actively connect with peers who are also navigating their own transitions, and peers that have already successfully navigated those transitions. It's critical to find the right balance between embracing the newfound freedom and maintaining some structure to guide your journey into this new exciting phase of your career.
That sounds really interesting. I mean, it is an opportunity to plan your own day. And I think the first time for a lot of people where they've got control over how they do things, and it can be a kind of a challenge. I mean, when we talk to the people in 11 Canterbury, they do a whole variety of different things. Most of them aren't looking for another full-time job. They may be working for nonprofits, working as expert witness, which is dear to our heart, executive coach, working in the education field, kind of a portfolio of activities. And we at 11 Canterbury, we're going to have a series of videos from people who have done all of those things. I think what you're talking about is more finding what you really are good at and approaching. How do you go about it? What's the most important thing that people should do as they leave their full-time job?
Well, Dan, it's not only figuring out what you're good at, but it's also equally as important to figure out what you truly love to do and what skills you have before you make a commitment. Now, you could be a teacher and be a good teacher, but you might have extremely specific skills about the way you interact with children or adults, the creation of a syllabus. It's important to figure out sort of those subcategories of love and expertise when you're starting to think about what to do next. Whether it's consulting, joining boards, getting involved in educational roles, make sure it aligns with your passions and your expertise. Networking is also essential. Continue to expand your connections both within and outside your existing network to explore new opportunities and gain diverse insights. And importantly, and a lot of people that I meet do this, avoid the common pitfall of overcommitting too soon in your transition. Give yourself enough time and space to explore and find what really fulfills you in the long term. I'm not talking about 3 weeks. I'm talking about 6 months or of reflection to figure out how you want to spend the next 10 years of your professional career.
Well, Seth, it would have been nice to talk to you when I left HP, right? Because your point is well taken. I just wish I had done it at the at
No.
the beginning. But what I did, and I think it's a bit of a challenge, is to look at what the things that I didn't like about HP and see if I could find something that was as far away from that as you could do. And you get different challenges, and you don't think about what's best for you. And
Keeping in mind, Dan, that you joined HP, there was something there that you wanted to do, probably some things that you love to do. So getting granular about what those specific things were, as opposed to painting the whole situation black, is what I'm talking about.
I think that's really good advice. And in fact, that is something that I did do. I did take time to reflect, but I didn't do it right at the beginning. It took time after that. But the other thing you mentioned that I think is really important is networking. And I look at you, I look at 11 Canterbury. It is a network. You've created a network of really interesting people. You've certainly, just as an aside, enriched my life, the people that I get to meet and interact with as a result of this network. Um, it seems that networking is kind of a different thing when you're not the senior person at UBS that people are ever coming to. I mean, are there some secrets to networking that you'd like to share, or is that something for another conversation?
No, I'd have to say that networking has always played a very important role in my career. In fact, 11 Canterbury, the vision for 11 Canterbury came out of a conversation about networking and thinking of ways to commercialize solid networking. After leaving my senior role at UBS, I found it a bit challenging to shift from being the one people sought out to being the one who needed to establish contact. I adapted it by becoming much more proactive. At that time, I regularly scheduled coffee meetings. I attended industry events. I participated actively in both online and in-person forums. And I understood who the important people were in my world and in my network. And I tried to segment my network into various types of people and focused on the ones which I felt I had the strongest relationship with and the one who we can mutually be beneficial to each other. if we continue on that networking. But that said, it's about giving as well as receiving. Being open to sharing your experiences, seeking advice from others who are navigating similar changes, or those who have already navigated them. The proactive and reciprocal approach to networking not only keeps me connected, but also opens up opportunities that I hadn't anticipated. Emphasizing building and nurturing relationships has been the cornerstone of my successful transition.
It's a key thing. You never know what you're going to learn from networking, and I think it's a testimony that you're able to transition to doing it in a different way and creating a wonderful network of people while you've done that. So thank you for that. Thank you for this conversation. I think there's surely more we can talk about. I always enjoy talking with you, and we'll follow this up with more discussions. Thank you, Seth.
I appreciate it, Dan. Thanks for having me and for setting this up. I really enjoyed it too. Bye.